So I've been formulating this video in my head right throughout the season, watching how Slot picks his players, who's first choice, how does he make his substitutions, what makes a Liverpool player under Arne Slot. And I thought, seeing as we're Premier League champions now, even with a few games to go, what better time to do it? So here we go. 7 attributes, characteristics, whatever you want to call them, that make an Arne Slot player, based on my observations anyway. Number 1, sounds like a no-brainer, technical ability. I would suggest that many teams in the Premier League and many Liverpool teams of the past have not had a squad full of highly technical, highly gifted players. And I think it is a critical ingredient for Arne Slot. And what I mean is top class technical ability. Think about Alisson, his shot stopping, his footwork, agility, distribution, his decision making, all A+. Absolutely brilliant, technically perfect goalkeeper. Think about Gravenberch, how gifted he is technically with the ball at his feet, his ability to turn, his ability to see a pass, his quick footwork, his passing ability, both short passing and long passing. Think about Mo Salah. I don't even have to go through his, do I? But think about the first 11, the ones that are his first choice 11, and every one of them is very highly technical. And I think that's one of the reasons why they are the first 11. Now, a little disclaimer here. I am going to talk about players who aren't in the first 11 currently, the squad players, the players that are trying to break in, the players that haven't played as much this season as they would have liked. And I'm not criticising them. Please understand, I'm not going to be critical of them. What I'm going to point out is areas where I think that they don't quite yet meet Slot's requirements of these 7 requirements I'm going to talk about. I'm not suggesting in any way they cannot get there in most of the cases here, but it's just why I think that they are currently a fringe player or they're not getting as many minutes. So I'll start by talking about Darwin Núñez when you're talking about technical ability. Now, would you say that his technical ability is up there with Mo Salah, Cody Gakpo, Luis Diaz and Jota? I think the answer is no. And that's why he is basically the 5th striker. There's other reasons I'll talk about in a little bit, but that's one major reason. Is Harvey Elliott's technical ability up there with Szoboszlai, McAllister, Gravenberch? Is Curtis Jones's technical ability up there? I would just suggest that the first 11, the ones that you can pretty much guarantee that Slot is going to pick, are probably the most highly technical players in their respective areas. Number 2, attitude. Any great team is a collective. Any great team has an entire squad that are team players. They're all in it together. There's no prima donnas. As the great Bob Paisley said, he doesn't remember anybody coming in and trying to rule the roost. Now, the Liverpool teams back then brought in some world-class talents. Some of them with an ego. Graham Souness, for one, comes to mind, but it never, ever was on display as being part of the team. They wouldn't have it. Liverpool wouldn't have it then, and they don't have it now. And I believe it's an absolutely key criteria for Slot. He will not put up with any type of attitude that undermines the team. And due to Jurgen Klopp and the whole Liverpool ethos, to be honest, and now Slot, they're all on the same page. It doesn't matter if you're a world beater if your attitude stinks. And how many players are there out there that are world-class talents in terms of the ball at their feet, but they're not world-class talents up here in terms of their attitude. Now, going to give 2 examples here. Sorry, got to go back to Darwin again, because that's the only one I can remember this season where Slot actually called him out, actually said he's not playing because his attitude was wrong in the last 2 games, didn't work hard enough. And he dropped him, but he called him out for it. It's not something that he generally does, but he did it. A second one, very topical at the moment, but I think Trent's attitude to defending. Not to the game, certainly not in terms of him going forward, but his attitude towards defending was lacklustre and it wasn't good enough. I wonder, is Arne Slot privately thinking it's now a problem I don't have to deal with? Because Trent was caught out at the right back area so many times due to not so much the fact that he was back there and made errors in defence. It was more that he wasn't even back there because he never ran back. So there's just a couple of examples. Now, compare that versus Andy Robertson and his work ethic and commitment and attitude. And the same with Conor Bradley and his attitude. Conor Bradley will die on the sword before he let anyone get past him. If he's caught upfield, and he does sometimes get caught upfield, he busts a gut to get back. The effort he puts into getting back is phenomenal. But the attitude of almost every player in that first 11, the attitude of the subs, the ones that aren't getting game time, Endo, attitude's amazing. Chiesa, attitude fabulous. They're fist punching from the sidelines. The attitude of Kelleher, the attitude of Bradley, the attitude of Harvey Elliott. It's all fantastic. And that group effort, we're all in this together, is absolutely phenomenal. And I firmly believe that we're going to see signings in the summer, and I think every single player will not just be highly technical and gifted and a top talent, but they're also going to have an absolute top attitude as well. Number 3, determination, fight and heart. One of the things you'll see in a post-match interview from Slot, one of the things he sort of tends to focus in on is, did we win our duels? It's a massive factor for him. And I think he studies all areas of the pitch and every player and says, are you determined enough? Do you have enough fight and enough heart to win your duels? There's a certain percentage of winning duels that is considered top level. And that's about 60-65% if you win your duels. And when a player doesn't reach that, he does not meet Slot's criteria. Remember in the first game of the season when Gerald Kwanzaa started in place of Konate, which was a surprise. At half-time, he was taken off. Why? Because he didn't win his duels. Now, that wasn't because of determination or attitude. I'm just using it as an example. But he didn't win his duels. It was naivety, being young, etc. But he brought Konate on. Another example I will use is Cody Gakpo. Earlier on this season, Gakpo was not making a position his own. And I think, personal opinion again, but I think it was because Cody Gakpo was not showing enough fight. He was backing out of 50-50s. I was quite critical of him earlier on this season and a bit of last season as well, that he didn't seem to fancy getting in for a tackle. And I have seen a marked improvement in that in Cody Gakpo as he has been under the tutelage of Slot. He now does fight for every ball. And there's a clear difference to me visibly watching him in his determination to win every duel that he's in. So think about the team overall in terms of winning duels. Robertson, Virgil, Konate, Endo, Bradley, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Salah, Jota, Gakpo, Diaz. All of them win the vast majority of the duels. And it's why we dominate virtually every game that we play. And I always take an interest after the game when they're doing a post-game analysis. And in virtually every game, we win more duels and more aerial duels than the other team. It's virtually every single game. And it's why we win most of the games we play, and it's certainly why we dominate them. Here's a big example. Last week, we go out there, we've won the league, bit of a hangover. We lose 3-1 to Chelsea, and guess what? We lost in duels and aerial duels significantly in that game. Number 4, speed of thought, speed of foot. Now, I'm not talking here about actual running speed. Having that is a great asset for any player if you're very, very fast. But I'm not talking about that. By speed of foot, I mean, I'll go back to Gravenberch. How he controls the ball, how he turns, and how his mind is one step ahead, and then he distributes the ball. It's speed of foot and it's speed of mind at the same time. It's players making the right pass at the right time and zipping it around to each other at high speed. Speed of thought, speed of foot. And it's using for the players that aren't gifted with immense speed. It's using that burst of speed to quickly close down, dispossess, or get to the ball a millisecond before the opposition player. Again, the first 11 have got that in spades. They are so clever. Their mind is working one step ahead. I'm thinking of players like McAllister and Endo when he comes on. Again, going back, and I want to say it again, it's not a criticism, not criticising these players, but it's where Curtis Jones needs to up his game. He can do it. He's shown that he can do it. He's had some games this season where his speed of thought, speed of foot have been right up there. But then he drops off and he dawdles on the ball and he doesn't quite make the right decision. He seems to default back to playing the game at a slightly slower pace than some of the others. And I think that will be where Slot is going to work on him to get up to the speed of the other the three starters. Because I'm really, really hopeful that Curtis can get there because he's shown signs of it this season. But I do think it's why he's fourth choice. And if he gets up there with the other three, we will then be in the arguments every week as to which one of them is going to be the guaranteed starter. Next one, decision making and football brain. It's another one where you would look across the entire Liverpool squad and give a thumbs up to virtually every player. Think specifically in terms of decision-making football brain of the likes of McAllister, Endo, Alisson, Mo Salah and Virgil. Those five in particular just always seem to make the right decisions and all have got a footballing brain that is way ahead of their opposing players and way ahead of most of the players around the world, to be honest. Now I'm going to go back to the players that aren't in the first 11 just as examples. I'm afraid it's back to Darwin. His decision making when shooting, his decision making about when to run in terms of will he or won't he be offside. He hasn't improved on them. They were areas that I think, because most of us have identified, that Slot would have said they're the things that you need to improve upon. When you get the chance of a shot, you've got to make the right decision. Do you blast it? Do you chip it? Do you bend it? Do you side foot it? He doesn't make the right decision on that. And his running offside is a problem and has remained a problem. And it's why I think Darwin is likely, very likely, to not be with Liverpool next season. Just because he hasn't shown the signs of getting to the level of the first 11 and of the other four strikers in terms of decision making. Now, I'll give a couple of more positive examples. Konate did not start the first game of the season. I think it was because Slot had identified in pre-season, because I saw it in pre-season, that Konate was continuing to dive into the back of players and giving away daft free kicks that should never have been. He was always getting too close to the player and allowing the forward to buy free kicks. But he's improved tremendously as the season has progressed under Slot. He still does it occasionally. He's prone to it, but he does it an awful lot less. And I think he will continue to improve. He's a great player. Again, this is not a criticism. It's more of an identification that there was something he needed to work on, but he's working on it. Some players have a natural tendency to do things. That's his natural tendency, is to get too close and to dive in. And he's getting much, much better under Slot and, of course, being alongside Virgil. The other example of where a player has significantly improved in their decision-making is Luis Diaz. Last season, I was getting frustrated that he always seemed to be so predictably going to his right, and players knew it. And he was getting caught out. He was getting so much of the ball, but nothing was coming from it because he had become a bit of a one-trick pony, and he definitely had been found out, but not now. He's using his football brain and he's going left and he's going right and he's cutting in and he's cutting back and he's giving passes earlier than he was before, and his football is a lot smarter, and as a result his impact on the team is greater than it was 12 months ago. And once again, you can see it on an upward trajectory. Now, this is an area, again, going back to Harvey Elliott, another reason why Harvey is not getting the game time. Again, I've got high hopes for Harvey. I really, really hope he stays with the team for many years to come and he gets to the level where Slot is giving him the game time. But he needs to improve his decision making. He doesn't run at the right time. He runs too much. Even that is a poor decision because he doesn't need to run as much as he does. I know he's enthusiastic and he wants to show how much dedication he's got to the team, but you've got to run smart. And then sometimes when he gets the ball, he will run into trouble and he runs into some blind alleys. Because he's kind of boxed in, he tries a shot that he shouldn't try. And these are just small things, but the things that Harvey needs to work on for him to be knocking on the door of the first 11. It happened specifically the other day in the Chelsea game. He got the ball on the edge of the box and he had slight miscontrol that kind of put him into a bit of a cul-de-sac with a couple of Chelsea players surrounding him. And instead of finding a pass, he tried to blast the ball through 3 Chelsea players. Small things, but that's where he can improve. Number 6, controlled aggression. The sense of calm on the pitch. It's another area though where we absolutely excel as a squad and as a manager. Aggression is critical for every footballer. Red mist is detrimental. And we don't have a manager or players that in general have the red mist come down. Now, we did in the Merseyside derby, but that's a one-off. We'll give them a pass for that one. But the manager exudes it, and he wants and he needs his players to do the same. Think about specifically Salah and McAllister. They get battered every week. They get attacked by the opposition players trying to stop them. And they're always getting dragged down, they're getting booted, all sorts is going on with them. But they never lose their cool. It's controlled aggression. They fight for every ball, but when they get grappled to the ground, they might get up and have a little moan, but they control their aggression and they never ever lash out or do something that is detrimental to the team, get themselves yellow or red cards. Virgil van Dijk is the absolute master of it. Master. Not just at Liverpool, in world football. Everybody tries to rile him, everybody fails. And not only that, but at the same time, he's quite sneaky as well. I mean, the odd little elbow here, the little kick there, he tells them straight up. I mean, he's a massive fella anyway, he's intimidating anyway, but he just lets them know, you're not getting anything from me. And the opposition players certainly know what he's all about, and he's brilliant at it. Now, the reason I say this is so massively important, a team that keeps in control, maintains their composure, has control of the game. And when you retain that discipline, you've got the edge always over the opposition. A final one, this one ties it all together, and it's positional discipline and control. To make it all work, every single player on the pitch needs to know their job and execute their job. And I think this is drilled into every one of them every week. That is your number one. You have control of this area of the pitch, and that's yours to win. And if all 11 win their area of the pitch, you're going to win 90% of your games. As an example, Andy Robertson over his Liverpool career, he has bossed the left-sided defensive area and the left attacking wing as needed. He has been superb in both of them throughout his career. Virgil van Dijk and Konate absolutely boss the left and right central defensive areas as their main priority, while also covering the fullbacks as needed. Gravenberch's area of responsibility is the area just in front of Van Dijk and Konate going into the opposition's half, but his primary is patrol that area, with another part of his job is to get us forward at the same time, and he's a master of it. Mo Salah on the right wing, Diaz or Gakpo on the left wing, Endo coming on and knowing exactly what area of the pitch and what level of control and what his job is in that position. McAllister and Szoboszlai in the area just slightly ahead of Gravenberch and just slightly behind the attackers. Every one of them is so incredibly disciplined. Yes, there's interaction. Yes, they move here and there on occasions, but their primary job is to absolutely control their area of the pitch with positional discipline. I want to go back to the topical issue of Trent. I think over the course of this season, the one player who has not had positional discipline and control of their particular area is Trent. And I'm not saying this because he's leaving. This would have been in the video if he was staying. He's brilliant going forward. He is fabulous in the secondary part of his role, which is the advanced position to create. But he's not positionally disciplined as a right back. And we've seen it time and time again. And we've seen it many times this season, specifically in the Man United game, also the other day in the Chelsea game and others. Conor Bradley is positionally disciplined like the rest of the team is positionally disciplined. Yes, he gets forward, as does Trent, but he's more like Andy Robertson in that he gets forward at the right time and he does not vacate his duties as a right back. He defends that right area of the pitch as if his life depends on it. And the other thing about Trent being caught upfield is that it had a knock-on effect of meaning that Konate could not be as positionally disciplined as he would like to be because he was forced over to the right and vacating the centre. So now, with Bradley there, I've got a feeling that we are going to see an even more improved defensive performance next season than we had this season. This season, it was the only measure where Arsenal were ahead of us, where we've only got the second best defence. We got the best in every other metric, but second best defence. I think the positional discipline of Bradley is going to be a real asset to us next season. So there you are, the 7 attributes I think that every single player has to have. The second, that will be mandatory for any player that Liverpool are looking to sign, and what you need if you're going to be a success as a Liverpool player under Arne Slot. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have I missed anything? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Am I talking nonsense? I'll see you soon. You never walk alone. Cheers.